Well, hey guys, it's 7Demo7. Welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be changing my Yd2sx here from the steering servo from kind of a lay down position, which is stock, to a vertical servo position. And there's basically a lot of benefits to doing that, and we'll go over that in just a moment. The products I'm going to be using today, number one is the Scale Reflex vertical servo mount. These are really well made. They have nice chamfered sides and also a little space for your wire, your servo wire to come out of. I'm also going to be using the Team Suzuki Servo arm, and this is an adjustable arm from 15 to 19 millimeters. So I got this from GGT, which is my local track. I got these from Super G, which is also another local track. I'm going to leave a link in the description on where to buy this and this from GGT and Super G. And just full disclosure here, they did not give these to me, and they are not paying me for doing this review or this video. I bought this with my own money just for full disclosure. So let's get to the build. Okay guys, the first thing I'm going to do right now is I'm going to go ahead and mount the servo mount to the servo using the one screw that I had from before. Now I think it would probably be advantageous to use 4 screws. I will have to find some new screws later on, but we'll go ahead and get this mounted up just the way it is right now. Once again, everything's just lightly tightened up right now. If you guys haven't seen this on my channel yet, it is a motion-controlled screwdriver. You press the button. If you turn your hand to one direction, you can go kind of slow. If you turn a little bit more, it'll go faster, and then you can come back to slow, and you can unscrew just by turning your hand. It's kind of handy. I like to, when there's a lot of screwing in to be done, that's I like to use it. All right, so we've got the vertical servo mount in right here. I'm going to be placing the servo horn. We're going to do this actually at an angle, but I also want to make sure that my servo is centered, so I'm going to turn on the car by putting a battery in. Okay guys, this is the Team Suzuki horn. This is the little insert that gets inserted into here. This one will allow you to go in 0.5 millimeter increments, so let's say if you wanted 17.5 or 18.5, the little indentations in here are going to allow the screws to do that. I'm going to be using this one because I want a full 19 millimeters at the full end of this insert. So this is going to go inside just like this. So that goes in just like that. I'm going to put the set screw in here. And as you guys can see here, I'm going to use this screw to help hold that little insert in place right there. Okay guys, so let's just talk about the reason why you might want to do this type of a setup. And the reason is there's some geometry going on. Anytime you have rack type of steering here, you're always going to have an offset steering servo arm here, and unless you keep everything within 90 degrees of each other, you're always going to have an endpoint adjustment of slightly off from one side to the other. I think on my radio here, I think I actually had it at like 105 going one direction and 94 going the other direction, something like that. So when you have a setup like this, you're going to be able to tune this to actually have exactly 100% steering on each side, and the servo is going to act better that way. The gyro is going to interact with your servo in a much better way without some sort of EPA compromise. Just FYI, the setup is that the ball end from my old link is going to go up and underneath through here because I want the ball link hanging downward. And then I'm going to go ahead and adjust my steering linkage to match what we have going on here. I'm also going to put a link in the description below to a blog post by Super G on how to set this up and just some generalized background about this type of a servo setup. Okay guys, I've passed the ball end through the end of the servo arm here. I'm going to go ahead and put the nut on the end of the ball link here, and they actually provide this this nut here, so we'll have to cinch this down. I'm not sure if this end sticking out is going to be long enough to clear the ball end, but we will see in a moment. If I need to put some spacers in there, I certainly will. So looking at the picture that Steve has on this setup here, it looks like he has the ball end on the car moved one over to shorten the distance there, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. One thing, you want to make sure your steering is nice and free before you start. So what you should do is compress your shocks here like as if you were driving, and just make sure that you have absolutely no binding through your system. So in my previous setup, I also had some spacers to make sure that the servo arm actually laid as close to perpendicular to the chassis as possible. So I'm going to take these out for this So obviously a setup like this is going to have a 1 cup down and 1 cup up. So I'm going to go ahead and attach these and see if we can't just see where we're at with the steering. Okay guys, so you can see that my steering is off to the right here just a little bit. So what I'm going to do is shorten this arm just a little bit so that it'll brings it back to center here. Okay, so that is starting to look a lot better. So let's take a look at see how our endpoints are looking here. So I've got a little bit too much travel there. So our goal here is to get the arm, these two arms at perfect 90 degrees. So even if we are at 80 on either side, which I think we should be endpoint at 80. I'm sorry, I think I said 100% before, but I think we can go to 80 on each side so that we are equal as we are looking at this. So this does look pretty close to 90 right now. So let me just take the endpoints on my radio here. Okay guys, so it is Jeff from the future, and I totally forgot as I was making this video that when you have the V3 gyro, when you turn on the car, then you're able to adjust your endpoint adjustments, because if you don't put this into the programming mode, everything you do here on your radio is not going to take effect. So let's just go over how to do that real quick. So right now, I think I'm at like 87% or something like that on both sides here. The steering is really great, it's so smooth, and you actually get a better leverage ratio with this setup here. Right now my steering is at 78 and 78, exactly equal on both sides. So okay, so go ahead and turn off your car and get ready to plug it in while holding the program button in, which is the center button on the V3 Yokomo gyro. So I'm pressing that in, I'm turning this on, and you'll see that now the green light is blinking. So as you're setting your steering endpoint adjustments, what you want to do is turn it to one side and check your steering. Once you get it to the spot where you want, you're going to program this hopefully equal on both sides. What happens if you've centered your servo and you're not getting the proper amount of travel for each side? Well, then you have to go into your sub-trim settings. So I'll show you guys my sub-trim settings really quickly here. Sub-trim. So I'm sub-trim right 16. So this is 16 degrees off center. You're going to need to adjust your sub-trim to get the proper amount of EPA or the throw on each side. I have been driving this car for the past few months, and I have to say I really enjoy the way the car steers. The transitions with the car are much more precise and much more accurate. They actually seem a little bit easy. Oh, okay, so really quickly, guys, so once you have your endpoints where you want it, you've adjusted everything. So I'm going to go back to EPA. Let's say I've adjusted my EPA and I got it exactly where I want. This is how you set the V3 gyro on the Yokomo system. So what you're going to do is steer to one direction or the other, go all the way to one side, hit the button, center button one time, and you'll see it blinks, it goes to green. You go to center, you go to the left, hit the button one more time, it's going to blink. And then you're going to let go, and it's going to blink again. So that's it. This is pretty darn close to 90 degrees here. 90 degrees from this pivot point to this pivot point over here. So that's going to keep my endpoints pretty nice. Okay guys, so that is the end of my setup video here. I'm going to be doing some fine-tune adjusting to this. I want to give a big thanks to Keith from GGT and also Steve from Super G for helping me out with this project. I hope you guys liked this video. If you did, give it that thumbs up and subscribe, and I will talk to you guys on the next one.